You don't have to be the smartest man in the room to realize overthinking is not intelligence. I mean, just pause and think about it for a moment. Overthinking is just fear wearing the mask of logic. Think of a time where you were stressed to the point where you were freaking out about something, and then that moment came to pass, and all of a sudden, it was fine. For me, that would be a photography gig I had to do. I was worried because I couldn't get my gear in time, and then the day went by and it was just fine. No worries at all, and I did great. So in this, you got to realize actionless thinking, just worrying about something without actually doing anything, destroys your dreams more than failure ever could. Because you're not stuck as a result of not knowing what to do, you're stuck because you won't start. Howdy, my name is Nolan T. Painter. I'm a young aspiring man with aspirations greater than anyone will ever understand. In today's video, I want to talk about how to stop overthinking and finally take action. Now this will be a bit of a shorter video because I have class in about 15 minutes or so. So I gotta get things going. So let's get right to it. Well, overthinking is just a delay with a cost. Because think about it, time is essential. And the more you spend waiting, the less time you'll spend working. Or even if you want to use your energy as a bit of a currency, if you spend all your energy working on setting something up, you'll have no energy to actually do it. So you're harming yourself just trying to do something, right? But this idea of overthinking hides behind the word of planning. It hides behind the idea of I'm planning or I'm thinking it through. But in reality, it's hesitation. For me, I want to start posting on my Instagram more often. But that's telling myself, oh, I'm just planning, or I'm coming up with ideas, or, I'm just thinking about something, or maybe now's not the right time. But the truth is I'll never start if I don't, actually begin, if I don't just get to it rather than just planning. You can take forever writing out a script on a movie, but the movie's not going to film itself, so you got to actually do the work. Right? The mind tries to convince you that it's like risk and danger, when in reality the danger is just like staying still. So you got to actually do work rather than just planning it, right? And decisions rot when they sit too long. Clarity comes from movement, not thinking. Thinking helps, and sometimes in life it's good to think about things for a long time. But if you really just want to start something, start it. Stop thinking about it, right? And one small action is going to clarify more than 1,000 thoughts. If you try to do something, it doesn't matter how many times you try to think about the possible answer, you'll just get the answer from doing it. Additionally, overthinking comes from not trusting yourself. You gotta have faith in your own word. You gotta have promises you can fulfill. So you don't trust your ability to handle consequences, you're gonna result in further consequences, because the consequences of not trusting your own abilities is not becoming the man you want to be, right? The consequences in that are the consequences. So you feel embarrassment, you feel rejection for getting something wrong. But if you don't do it at all, you won't get anything, right? And if you have this self-trust, which is necessary, it grows from keeping small promises. So like, I want to do this, or I'm going to start doing this, and then just starting it, not thinking about it, not theorizing, but just doing it. You don't theorize your way into confidence, right? You don't plan ways to talk to a girl and then all of a sudden you feel good about yourself. You just go and do it. You're casual, you're clean, you have good communication, and that just comes from practicing. How do you practice? You do it. You don't just think about it. So when you act, you got to prove it to yourself. I'm a man who follows through. Additionally, your environment feeds your overthinking. I love to talk about this now because your environment is what builds you. So if you have too much comfort, then you have too much time to think instead of moving, too much time to just sit around. Sure, it's nice to lay in your bed, but if your alarm doesn't go blaring off early in the morning, how are you supposed to get up? So if you have too much noise, however, like your phone, dopamine, and distractions, that makes your mind spiral. Because how is your mind supposed to focus to do anything if you have so much noise? And when you're alone in your room, you're just like, do nothing, right? You're probably on your phone scrolling. You're looking for motivation, but in reality, you're just spending time wasting away because you don't actually want to do the work. Think about it. When you're trying to plan and like come up with this future idea in your head, that's not you planning for it. That's you pushing it off because you subconsciously don't want to do it. So tell yourself, I want to do it, so then do it. So you got to change the environment so the body moves before the mind can ever think. So you need to just push yourself in the world or in the situation that pushes you to do something. Force yourself into an environment that's easier. Think about it this way. If you play video games, the best way to stop playing video games isn't to stare at your monitor, it's to get rid of your whole computer. That's drastic, but surely you won't play video games anymore, right? Or don't bring your phone to the bathroom if you don't want to lust. Or, set alarms if you want to wake up. It's all based on your environment, the little things and the big things, right? Right now, I have no friends or family. I mean, that's a pretty good environment to work hard. I got nothing to distract me. Family's amazing, but back home I'd spend a lot of time with family. Now when I'm out here for school, I don't have that. So it sucks to not be with family, but at the same time, all you can do is work based on the environment. And additionally, you got to realize action is a muscle, not a personality trait. We like to see successful people, like the millionaire or the guy who's with a girl, and you think, oh, he took a lot of action. He's just that good guy. But no, it's a muscle to train, right? Good men aren't just a personality trait. You're not just a good man, right? That's someone who worked hard, harder than you, and became the thing you want to become, right? We all start on the same level. Doesn't matter where you're born, we're all on the same level because we're all the same people. And it's a muscle you got to train. Sometimes it's easier for others, but that just comes from realizing it. Because if you go to the gym without any knowledge, then you're probably not going to train well. But if you go to the gym with a lot of knowledge, you're going to train. But needless to say, like, you still have to go to the gym, right? You can't be thinking about working out. You actually have to go work out. So you're not born an overthinker in this idea. You're training yourself to avoid action because you don't want to train it, right? And you can train yourself out of that the same way. You can have repetition. You can have small steps. You can have consistency, right? It might be hard to go to the gym, but start with some push-ups. So in that, you got to push yourself a little bit, getting out of bed early, going and doing something, just trying a little bit to just push your mind into building these habits. And that's the thing, it's all habitual. So all this work gets really, really easier the more you just do it because it becomes normal. If you go to the gym for every day straight for 10 years somehow, do you think it's going to be hard to go to the gym tomorrow morning? No, it's just part of your life. Right? If you play video games every day, it's probably easy to play video games. So likewise, if you're a long distance runner, it's probably easy to go for a run. So let it be easy by doing work. Be graceful with yourself. And when starting feels impossible, you just shrink the task until it's easy, right? Shrink it until it's impossible to say no. For me, I have a calendar, and like, let's say I have a big assignment, right? So I'll write assignment, right, on my calendar. That's what I'm doing that day, assignment. But that's a really broad idea, assignment. Well, I can't do it all in that one day. Maybe I gotta go take photos. Maybe we gotta do editing. Maybe I gotta do this. That's a big idea. So maybe I'll say, okay, first part, second part, third part, fourth part, and then over the week I'll do it. It's way harder to say no to that versus assignment. And if you want to get even more critical, then start document, write a page or write a line, right? You don't read a whole book by reading a book. You read a book by reading one word at a time. So start with one word. Make it easy for yourself, right? So just, for me at least, like, open a document if you're too afraid to start writing. Put your shoes on if you're too afraid to go to the gym, right? And instead of having a huge goal, do the smallest version of that goal for now, because doing the smallest thing is better than doing absolutely nothing. And you'll work your way up, believe me. I'm doing a lot right now, but on day 1 of coming out here, I was doing nothing. On day 2, I started a little bit, and on week 3, I was finally getting the hang of everything. So you got to realize it takes time to build these habits into your life. So don't be pressured that you're not doing everything right away, but certainly be pressured to start doing the small things as soon as possible. Start building your life up. Just start immediately. Start a little thing, and then tomorrow you'll be even better. Let's say you want to go to the gym. Stop right now and do as many push-ups as you can. Or even better, stop right now and do one push-up. Just one push-up. I don't care if you're insanely strong. I don't care if you're a fatso. I don't care if you're skinny. Do one push-up right now. You know what? Here, I'll prove that I mean what I'm saying. I'll do one right now. There. See, one push-up. Wasn't that so hard? Now, you just did one push-up, and if you didn't, well, then you should probably be embarrassed of yourself because the guy on the other side of the phone did a push-up. But anyways, what I'm saying here is it's so easy to just start something and make it easy. Like, just do one push-up. Make it easy, right? And there you go. You just did one push-up. Good for you. So tomorrow, same time, do another one. Or maybe later today, do one. But the point is you're not over-sending it. You're not full-sending it, like, immediately, day 1, because that's incredibly difficult. What you need to do is start it easy so you can build a habit. So then tomorrow you'll do a push-up, and then the next day. And maybe by week 2, or, the end of week 1 or something like that, maybe you can do 2 push-ups a day. And then maybe after a month or 2 of push-ups, you look at gym memberships. You see what I'm saying? Of course, if this is really easy for you, then go on and push it. But the point is it has to be consistent. People, like, especially men like to dog on consistency. But think about, like, even my channel. If you look at my older videos, or even all my videos, there's no editing. They're incredibly simple, and I'm just reading from a couple lines of a script. And I'm talking to you guys, just off my heart, right? These videos are easy. The most complex thing is me opening up Photoshop and editing a thumbnail. But the point is that they're easy, so I can balance my school and work life and relationships and the woman I love who I want to work for one day, right? And I can do this. The point is balance, right? Yes, I'm full sending my life into this hardworking environment, but I can't make these insanely giant documentary long videos every day. That's impossible. Nevertheless, even if it is possible, I'll burn myself out because I'm lazy. So I gotta make it easy. And you know what? Over the last 3 months of me doing this YouTube stuff, the video quality has gotten better, right? It's gotten better. Yeah, it's fluctuated a bit, but you can't say it hasn't gotten better. So, imagine a year from now, another 2 years from now, right? People go to the gym for years and years and years. So don't be surprised if by a month you're just starting to get into it. It's a lifelong journey. So in that, you got to realize, make progress easy, make it understandable, and do it consistently. Because if you're not consistently, you're going to fail. Straight up, you will fail if you're not consistent. I'm serious. Like, take my word as gospel. I mean that. If you want to make $1 million, if you're not working, maybe not every day, but if you're not doing a little bit, and if you give up all of a sudden, you're not going to win. You won't. You won't lose weight if you stop going to the gym maybe not for one day, but if all of a sudden one day you just stop, you're not gonna do it. Right? I know, go figure, if you stop and give up on your dream, you won't achieve your dream, but that's a big deal. Giving up on a dream, especially a dream that's so tangible and so realistic. It's realistic to make a lot of money. It's realistic to get in a beautiful relationship. It's realistic to build a beautiful physique. Those are all things you can do. So just do them. But be gentle with yourself, right? Men struggle not because their path is unclear, right? A lot of guys struggle because they refuse to just pick a path. So you might not have to take all of them, but just start down one, right? Stop sitting and thinking and just do. And even if the direction isn't perfect, look at my stuff. Sometimes I have a camera, right? Sometimes I have this guy. Sometimes I'm using my phone. I use my wallet and a weird water bottle to balance up my phone. Sometimes it's even worse quality than that. Sometimes I'm back home editing on my laptop. Sometimes I'm here with my computer, right? Whatever it is, I'm still on the path, right? Even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's weird, bad internet, good internet, I'm trying my best. And here's the thing, your future self, that's you tomorrow, you in 2 weeks, you in a couple years, he wants you to move. I can say for a fact, future Nolan wishes he started this years ago. Future Nolan wishes he got his butt engaged and just working forever ago. But I also know this. Present Nolan is working hard, so future Nolan's appreciative. Future Nolan is appreciative that I started all these habits now, and I'm working now. Future Nolan is appreciative that I'm learning all these things now. It would be nice that I did this and that and what so, but it's also good that I actually started doing work. Likewise, if I didn't do any work, future Nolan would be really upset because I didn't do anything. And it's the same for you. So every month you spend, stuck in your own head, every moment that you're just thinking and planning something that you're not actually doing is something you'll never get back. That's a month you'll never get back in your life. And you a month from now is going to realize that and be upset, right? I spend a lot of money on food down here because I hate the cafeteria. And I am royally upset at myself for spending hundreds of dollars on food over the last couple months. A lot of money on food that I did not need to spend. And in that, I'm like, I'm an idiot. I wish I didn't do that. Present Nolan was like, oh yeah, I'm hungry. I'll go get food. But now future Nolan, which is now me, I'm like, I'm never going to do that ever again. That's stupid. So it's, life lessons are nice and all, but you can also learn a lesson without punishing yourself. And the life you do want, right? The one that comes with all these beautiful things only appears when you begin. Right? Not when you understand everything. And that's a key factor. People like to think, okay, once they become a millionaire, that's when they'll build the habits to, hold money, control money, handle money, invest, etc. But the truth is, you have to know how to do all those things before even making, a couple $1,000. So what I'm saying is, when you achieve your goal, you don't learn your habits. You learn your habits to achieve your goal. If you want to run a marathon, you have to build the habits to get up early every morning and start running and building your body. You don't run a marathon and then you know how to do those things. So why would you do the same thing with money or relationships? Why would you wait until a relationship to, start being a good man, right? You don't start talking to a girl to start conquering your lust. And you don't start talking to a girl to all of a sudden build the right habits. You build the right habits to talk to a girl. And I've had this conversation with my dad, I've had this conversation with friends, and like no one nowadays understands this. So I really hope you, dear viewer, you can understand this, because like it's a big deal. Like think about it. If you want to talk to a chick, you build the habits to be a good man for her before you meet her. You don't meet her to build habits. You understand? If you're struggling with overeating, right, and you want to stop overeating for her, well, you don't date her to stop overeating. You stop overeating to date her, right? You put yourself in a good physical condition, a good mental and spiritual condition to be with her, not the other way around. And that applies to almost everything in life. So in all that, you got to realize you can't think your way into a new identity. You just have to do it. And you got to be doing it the right way. So even if that's a little bit, whatever, how much you're pushing on yourself, as long as it's consistent and you act your way into your new identity. And your identity is who you want to be. If you're a millionaire, that's your identity. If you're LeBron James or a really good basketball player, that's your identity. So you right now, considering you're watching, an idiot like me talk about these things, you're probably a bum. Right? Look at me, I'm probably a bum, right? Those are our identities. So why don't we change our identity to be, a bum, but he's working harder than anyone else on the planet because he won't let there be someone who works harder than him, right? And why don't we change those identities into someone who's incredibly successful because he worked hard? And he used to be a bum, but now he's successful. He used to be skinny, but now he's jacked. He used to be stupid, but now he's smart. He used to be lonely, but now he has a beautiful wife and a family, right? And even if you ignore everything in the past, doesn't that new identity nonetheless look really nice? I mean, you're jacked, you're smart, you're rich, you got a beautiful family. Who cares about the past at that point? You're winning. But none of that happens if you don't stop thinking and just do. My name is Nolan T. Painter. I hope you appreciated the shorter video. I got class in 30 seconds, so I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching.